What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday and welcome to Live with Nana. You already see the screen is looking so bright. The melanin is a popping, the lips is a popping because I have this beautiful woman on the screen with me who I'm about to introduce in just a hot second, okay? Because let me let you know, cat out the bag, that this is actually a pre-recorded situation. Yes, friends, usually I do Live with Nana live, but my guest is in California and I'm in New York. And we ain't finna let nobody be up at 6 a.m. with the face beat dressed for the show. Okay. We ain't gonna do that to nobody. Okay. 9 a.m. is a stretch. All right. So we are pre-recording this bad boy for y'all. So if you don't get my usual call out of your comments, I still love you. Still put the comments in there because guess what? I'm gonna still be around Wednesday at 9 a.m. and be commenting live with y'all. So tune in for that. Okay. Trish and I, we gonna make that work. All right. So definitely let us know in the comments where you are tuning in from and let us know if you have questions along the way. We want all of that magic happening. All right. So let me talk about this here, that girl, Trish Lindo. Okay. I know you're excited because if you've been following Trish, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram, you know that her content be so good. The looks be so good. Okay. Everything just nice and juicy and melanated, and we love it. So let me just give y'all a little bit of an overview in case this is the first time you're seeing this beautiful woman. She is a senior partnerships manager. She builds partnerships and relationships with founders and business owners. She's a creative and entrepreneur, a speaker, an architect about all things personal brand and having innovation and meaningful impact. And she's also the founder and host of the Too Ambitious podcast, which I have been blessed to be a guest on. So without further ado, welcome Trish Lindo.
Woohoo! Hey. Nana, I love that introduction. Thank you so much. I feel famous, and I will be giving autographs to the fans later. So thank you.
You should. As you should.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be on your show. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We are
Yeah,
so excited to have you.
absolutely.
So what I want to talk about just off the top is your journey. It's so rich and deep. As I was like perusing your LinkedIn, looking on your website, I'm like, this woman is building strategic partnerships at all of these huge media companies. She's doing community management at LinkedIn. Now she's a founder of Too Ambitious. She's doing consulting for business owners. I was like, those are the highlight reels. But I want to hear in your own words, tell us about your story, your journey of how you are in this space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we all know that no one's journey is a straight line, right? We all have started at some place and ended up in other places that we're like, I didn't even know how I got here. So, but my story in a nutshell, I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
Full breed, by the way, both parents, I'm not a halfie, I'm not claiming I'm full.
Let them know.
And I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, believe it or not. And I actually went to Florida A&M University, studied broadcast journalism, moved to Los Angeles to work in the entertainment industry, which is what everybody was doing. If you wanted to be an actor, if you wanted to be a producer, my whole goal was to work in entertainment, be an entertainment reporter. And I accomplished some of that. I ended up becoming a producer. So I was producing red carpets for CNN, you name it. I've been to the Golden Globes several times, the Oscars, interviewing some of the biggest stars in the world. So, I achieved the goal that I wanted to achieve when I first was like, I'm moving to LA, and I was working in Hollywood, living in North Hollywood. And there was a time when people called me Hollywood because all the Hollywood is just connected, which So maybe somewhat of a fate journey. I'm not sure.
Yes.
And then I pivoted into tech by working at BuzzFeed. I was managing BuzzFeed Tasty, where I was managing the team that created content for Tasty on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And, but it was interesting because I'm also vegan. So the fact that I was managing a team that, cared about making, chicken and steak and big, massive burgers was always hilarious to me.
Right.
But somehow it worked. But yeah, and then I was at BuzzFeed for 3 years, and then was recruited by LinkedIn to be a part of their new team that they were creating. It was a creator management program. I was a senior community manager. So I ended up working with so many women founders on the platform, specifically women of color and Black women, and helping them to leverage their thought leadership on the platform, connecting them to opportunity, basically being their advocate. And I just really loved it. I just loved it. I was, to talk to women who were creating something out of nothing, whether it be out of necessity or to take care of their families. I was moved by that, and I was motivated to continually help them any way that I can. I wanted to amplify their voice. I'm like, I'm going to get you on this panel. We got to get you this speaking engagement. How can I connect you to some VC funding? So that was a huge part of the work that I was doing. And so I enjoyed it. And so when I left LinkedIn, I basically continued it because a lot of people were still reaching out to me, asking me to help. And I was like, I guess I could just keep going, just kind of start my own thing. So I created Too Ambitious. So I became an entrepreneur myself. Because, and I know some people are like, oh, why too ambitious? And because a manager once told me that I was too ambitious in my review. So I was like, girl, bye.
Goodbye.
So now we use that as fuel to continue to be great, so that's what we do.
Period and full stop. So see, y'all see, right? Like I love the casualness of how we shine. I love the casualness of how Trish is just shining through. And I mean, you are Hollywood. Like I'm like, can we get that resurfaced in the best possible way? Because I feel like the glam, the energy, the characters, the natural like way in which I feel the broadcast journalism and the producing and all of this just like really nicely coming together for you in this current season. It makes all the sense in the world.
It's it's all about the seasons. This is the season of my life where I'm learning a lot. I'm also helping a lot of people. I'm also humbled in a lot of ways as well, because I have to ask for help. I am learning things that I don't know. I have thrown myself off so many cliffs this year that when I'm going down, I'm realizing that I don't have wings, that I'm still grateful for this opportunity, So, yeah.
Okay. Did you catch the entire word? Because if you are able to free fall off a cliff, and in that moment of questioning your decision, find the gratitude, that's the part.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, for all of us with our journey, is finding the lessons and being grateful for it, because you probably don't feel that in the moment. And as we know, we never know when we'll go, aha, as, the aha moment, as Oprah says, who I also used to work for. But it does eventually happen. You're like, that's why I went through all that. So,
Yes. I love this so much. And I want to talk more about the people you mentioned that you're helping, especially in this space of like authentic personal branding and authentic storytelling, which you do so well.
Thank you.
And even in that of like, I don't know if there's something you do or something you just are, but
Yeah.
whatever it is, like it feels right and it feels genuine.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about the people that you're helping and what you're seeing in this space of personal branding, because it's a big one.
It is.
And I'm
It is.
curious what's coming across your way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we all know personal branding, big buzzword. Everybody talks about it like, yeah, you got to build a personal brand. You got to need to know what you're doing.
In
But
that voice is how they do it too.
just like that,
I can't.
It's true. It's true. It's one of those things that I don't know. I feel like it kind of took off maybe in the last 3 to 4 years where it was like, you got to have a personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I realized is that it was a culmination of all my skills as a producer, as a writer, as someone who's a speaker, who can naturally build relationships with people very, very quickly. I realized that it was a skill that I could leverage to help people. So some of the women that I work with, so I mainly work with women's organizations, leadership organizations that have women founders, entrepreneurs, executives, many of them C-suite, have had these incredible careers for a very long time. And they're basically like in a space where they're like, okay, I have all this now. Now what do I do with it? How can I take everything that I've learned in the past, 10, 15, 20 years and build something? And now, of course, as you know, these women are ambitious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some of them are like, I want a TED Talk. I want to write my own book. I want to start my own show. I want to become a venture capitalist. They have very big goals, but they have no social footprint that's out there because they've been grinding,
Facts.
and I get that, and I get that. So I connect with these women in a way that is, I think I think of myself as like a friend, right? So I say, here's how you get started. I keep it simple. I'm definitely not the person who's going to give you like the big, deep talks, because first of all, I don't have the patience for it, like I just don't like, I can't like give you like, this is what, no, I'm going to give you actionable steps. Here's what you need to do.
Come on.
And then we can go from there. So, I'm inspired by these women, especially the founders who, again, like I say, are starting these businesses or have had businesses that are super successful, but they're like, okay, now I need to take it to the next level. They don't realize that, themselves, who they are as leaders and their business are one and the same. They like to think of it as separate. People show up for you. And then they decide like, oh, okay, I'll buy your product. I'll, buy your service. People love to get to know you. So share that. You should be sharing a little bit more about your journey, a little bit more about your knowledge, how you started your business, why you started your business. People want to know that. And sometimes it feels very sort of like, do people really care? People really do care. They do, and at the very basic of our humanness and our humanity, one, we're nosy. We're nosy as AF. Folks want to know. Folks want to know.
Oh my God, that is the truth.
People want to know. Tell me everything. What you doing?
Right. It's a fact. Oh my God.
So it all inspires me, and believe it or not, when I'm creating posts on LinkedIn or on IG, I'm talking to myself. A lot of the information that I'm sharing, I am talking to myself. I'm trying to motivate myself to keep going because, like I said, I professionally jump off cliffs. So, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out just like you are, right? And now I may have some answers, which I'm happy to share, but when I'm putting out a post about how to stay motivated, trust me, I'm talking to myself.
Girl. Girl.
So yes.
Listen. See, this is why we love Trish, because she gonna keep it a whole buck and be so transparent with it too. Like, I think that's part of why I think a lot of people connect with you, and you found that success in the relationship building, because there's just a natural, like, oh, you get it too. You too? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Like, I didn't think you had problems. Like,
Yeah.
and you're like,
We got problems.
but you're like, but I've learned some stuff, but here it is too.
Yeah.
I'm curious for some of the folks who are tuning in on LinkedIn, and you talked about being personal, people being nosy and wanting to know the things, especially when you're that founder who you've had the decades of experience, and in your mind you've like compartmentalized, like, well, this is 9 to 5, and I'm outside of that, this is the other thing, and you're trying to change someone's mindset to be like, you are one and the same. When folks are thinking, especially thinking about this for the corporate gals, right? And sometimes we're thinking about LinkedIn, and they have that like, well, no, I have to be a certain way on LinkedIn, or that's not where I'm fitting to talk about, how parenting is hard, or how like I'm trying to struggle and I ain't getting no sleep trying to start this new venture.
Exactly.
Like, what do you say to that woman listening who's like, but how on LinkedIn though?
Yeah, and it's a good question. And one of the things that I start off by letting people know is that, first of all, LinkedIn has over 1 billion members on the platform, right? And yes, it did used to be the platform where you went, and if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a job, I guess I better get on LinkedIn, post my resume, look for a job. But a lot of that changed during the pandemic, a lot of that changed. So we were all living at home, working at home, taking care of our families, crying, trying to figure out, okay, is the sky falling? Have the aliens landed? Like, what is happening, right? So everything was happening. So on LinkedIn, people were starting to sharing their stories, right? So it changed the ecosystem of the platform to basically what you're seeing today. So for people who are, in corporate, or, you're trying to make that switch from corporate to entrepreneur, I totally get it. But LinkedIn is a place of sharing that knowledge, sharing what you know. And the biggest thing that you have to do is to start. You can overthink yourself out of money. You can overthink yourself out of opportunities. If you are sitting there thinking about all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, why you shouldn't write a freaking post, it's a post. Like,
let's reduce the stakes.
We are not saving lives here, folks.
Right.
Just write the post, because at the end of the day, and I try to remind people like this, the reason why you're overthinking is because you think people care. No one cares. They really don't. So you over there wondering like, well, people are going to think that I'm this, or maybe people will think. People don't have that kind of time to think about you and your problems. We're too busy thinking about our own problems, and what we should be posting. So put your content out there. Share in a way that, basically highlights your accomplishments and the knowledge that you know. You can't be fearful when it comes to building a personal brand or building a business. Yes, fear is a constant. All of us experience fear, but you have to use that as leverage to push yourself further and faster than you can ever imagine, I think a lot of us will talk ourselves out of greatness. We really will, and I get it, especially when you are a Black woman or a woman of color, where society has told you pretty much your whole life that you ain't really that great. You're too ambitious. You're dressing too colorfully. Don't you change that? Your hair is it's too kinky,
Mm,
could you put a flat iron on that? Could you throw a wig on? Like, and no
yeah,
shade if you do any of those things, like it's all good.
yeah,
But the point is that when you've been told for a very long time that you're not that great, sometimes, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
sure.
So when you're trying to shift your mindset, listen, I experience it as well. It's affirmations, and it's
Yeah.
also, I also say there is power in doing. You have
Mm,
to do the things that are
yeah.
hard and that scare you. You have to.
Yes.
So put out the first post. Just try. Put out the first post. Sure, it's not going to be perfect. It might not be great. You may get 2 people, 5 people, no people, but
Mm,
you have to start. You have to
yes.
start. And then once you start, it's like a muscle. You keep doing it. You're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. I'll try it again, you know. But the hardest part that I tell a lot of people is starting. And it's because they've spent so many times spinning in their head, well, I don't want my previous boss to think X, or, oh, my coworkers are looking
Mm.
at my profile. Well, let them look, you know, share some stuff with them,
Right.
let them know, so I find that a lot. And I was, yesterday, I did a lot of coaching with people
Mm,
one-on-one through this workshop that I've been doing with a women's organization. And
mm.
it all came back to that. It all came back, well, I don't want to post. I mean, we're talking about really successful women here. They're like, well, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't want people to think about X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, 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 no. You're freaking awesome. No one's going to know you're awesome if you don't put it out there. And as we know, if you are waiting for people to tap you on the shoulder, be like, hey, I think you're awesome, child, you be dead in the grave. Eh.
Oh my God.
So you gotta you
God.
gotta show up for yourself. You gotta be your own best fan. You gotta
Yeah. Yeah.
realize the power that you have, and
Hmm.
don't overthink it. I tell myself that all the time. You can't overthink it. You
Yeah.
gotta stop caring, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the realest ever. Listen, you you need, if you have not already, you already need to be sending Trish this DM talking about, you just gave me a 5 minute kick in the pants that I needed to take action,
There
and
you
you
go.
need to tell her thank you. Okay, like
You're
that's
welcome.
what I
You're
need you to do.
welcome.
Um, let's let's talk about some of these women, because you have coined them so well as being too ambitious,
Yeah.
and you have created an entire podcast, and I think and platform and space
Yeah.
for these women.
Yes.
And you, as you say, the podcast Too Ambitious, which celebrates Black women and women of color founders who are innovators,
Mhm.
disruptors, and
Yes.
yes, very ambitious. How did the podcast come about, and why the word ambitious? We
Mhm.
we as you broke down, as Black women and women of color, we get told we're too a lot of things.
Yeah.
Why
Mhm.
ambitious?
Yeah, and I know, excuse me, I know that ambition sometimes feels like it could be a dirty word, you
Mm,
know, but I'm taking the power back. I took the power back
mhm.
because we don't have a problem calling men ambitious. We let
Say
them
it.
be them. They get to be who they are. They get to be great. They get to, be presidents. They get
Mm,
to be kings. They get to run corporations, and they
mhm,
get to be too
mhm.
ambitious. But when it comes to women, we like to minimize, that drive and that ambition. And
Yeah.
now we could do a whole other show just on that and why that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But, when I started this show, my main focus on this show was to amplify the voice of women that I was not seeing, because I know that there are so many women out there who are excellent. They are
Yeah.
great. right?
Yeah.
And so when I was at LinkedIn, and no shade to LinkedIn, but I wanted to do a show similar like that. But, the powers that be was like, hey, I don't know about that. All right, man, fine, whatever. So once I, was out of there, I was like, I'm going to do it because it was a thought that wouldn't leave me. It was in my gut and it kept coming back. So I'm a person who's on social media. I look at trends. I notice patterns. And here's what I notice is that, yes, some of us Black women and women of color get a lot of opportunities. You get to go to the conferences, you get to be on the podcast, but low key, it be the same women over and over again. Over and over again,
Say it.
And I'm like, there are other great women out there. There are. Now listen, no shade to anybody who's getting their coins, okay?
Right.
And getting their shine. That is not what I do. But what I'm saying is we have to open up the gate a little bit more. We have to share the wealth. And so what I wanted to do with this show is to highlight the women who are doing great things that you may never I have never heard of this person, but they are freaking amazing. And then maybe if your next conference, your podcast, you're like, you know what? I actually saw Nana on this show. Let me bring her in, because the more many of us, the more of us have these opportunities, the more we can take care of ourselves, take care of our families, and build generational wealth. So we have to learn how to spread that wealth around, And so when I hear from, people, previous women who've been on Too Ambitious, be like, hey, just so you know, somebody saw me on the show and they actually want me to speak at a conference. That's a win for me. That's a win.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, because now they have been put up on another stage to share their work, share more about who they are, and get more money, frankly.
Let me give you your flowers right now, because I was a guest on Too Ambitious, and a woman reached out and booked a discovery call with me, and she is a new client.
Hey.
And she was also a Too Ambitious guest. So I said,
I love it. Yes. See, that makes me so happy. I love it.
So the flowers are here for you to receive and smell. Because you're absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree with you more. I've had that same thought scrolling through and looking at opportunities and looking at, who's being interviewed and who's getting this new grant. And I'm like, oh, they're dope. Oh yeah, they're dope too. Yeah. But I know a few other people in this space too, who are also dope, who could also get and deserve a third of that grant if you decided to spread it, or also be called on for the interview, right? And I love that you're creating the space, because what I don't want to hear from anybody is, well, I didn't know anyone. This was the only person I knew. This was the only person I knew. No, you didn't. That's not an excuse, right? No. There's plenty out here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We can all be rich together. Yes. That way we can fly on our private jets and go to Bora Bora and look fabulous, and do nothing. So.
Is there a list? Do we sign up? Listen, if there's a list to sign up, put it in the chat.
Yes, we're gonna sign up now.
Right? Okay. Oh my gosh. I love this so much, and I really love and appreciate and I hope you all are hearing this as you're just thinking about these themes of being authentic and telling your story and knowing your story, and how that can come out through the different platforms that you create, whether that's at the company you're at or not. Okay? Because I hope you caught the nugget Trish dropped. Somebody said no over here. She said, oh, well, I will do it myself and it will be fabulous. And it has been hugely, hugely amazing and impactful and successful. So don't sit on it. Don't sit on it. Once again, like I said, just send a girl to DM thank you now for the kick in the pants to take action. There she is. She's receiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love.
Of course.
Yes.
So, okay. So, one of the things we got to talk about right off the bat,
Mm.
and even actually while we close this out,
Okay.
is, come on, lean in, is your style. Huh. Y'all thought I wasn't going to talk about it, but you crazy if you think I was.
I love it.
Trish's style is phenomenal. If you are not following her, make sure you do. The looks be looking all the time, and it's the whole totality, head to toe. She's got this beautiful blue eyeliner. I told her I want it so bad, but I will poke my eye out if I try. And I just love that it's so much part of her signature style and essence. So tell us more. And low key, she's a stylist. High key, because I already said it. Boom.
Yes. Low key. One client.
One client is all it takes. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. I do
Tell
it.
us more about your relationship with style and how.
I've always loved fashion. Always. Even when I was a little girl, I dressed my Barbies. They had to have the right outfits. I used to read all the fashion magazines. You couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to move to New York and become a model, because I was obsessed with all of it. All of it. I just loved, even when my mom would buy me clothes for school, I would be like, I'm not wearing that, and she'd be like, what? Why? And I'm like, it's not cute. And so she's like, fine. Well, the next time I go shopping, you can come with me. You can pick out your own clothes. Yeah, please. Because, my mom, she'll tell you, she's like, I'm not stylish at all. Mm-hmm. So, the love of fashion started very, very early. Mm-hmm. And there were moments where I was like, okay, I want to pursue fashion. But at the time I didn't see anybody who was doing it or to help me to sort of navigate that. Because I think had I had that person, I probably would have gone in a different path for sure, because that's how much I love it. But, it became a thing where I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do my own thing. And, when you're starting out your career, you don't have a lot of money or whatever. But, as my career grew and I was able to, spend a little money, and I was living in Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is like New York. Like you can get anything in LA, anything you can think of, any fabulous vibe you can create, you can do that in LA. And so I started just kind of creating my own thing, and I can't even describe my style because I shop everywhere. I do not care. I will go to a thrift store. I'll go to Goodwill. I'll go to Banana Republic. I will, do Nasty Gal online. I will do sustainable and do some clothing swaps. As long as it's fire and I know how to put it together.
Right.
I don't care where it's from, and so the style kind of kept going. And so I started my Instagram many moons ago. So it's Trish Lindo Style, started the Instagram and was just sharing my style, and it went really well for a time. But then, IG was hating, they changed up the algorithm. And then I remember they did like a purge. I don't know if you know, but they, sometimes in the past they have done some purges where they would be like, hey, it's too many like bots or whatever. So they purge people, the entire platform.
Oh, right.
Yes. Followers.
Right. Yes.
So I was just over 10,000. And then that purge dropped me like to 9 or something like that. Then the pandemic happened. And then, as we know, pandemic, the whole world's upside down. And I just lost my mojo, as they say. I just couldn't share anymore. I was sitting at home wondering like what's happening. So I lost my way a little bit from a fashion standpoint. So I stopped posting. I just couldn't do it anymore. And then, I would say in the last 2 years, maybe a year and a half, it kept coming back, because when you realize that something, that's who you are, you can't escape it. You really
That's
can't, and
yeah.
that's what I realized. So I just started, like, wearing my stuff, looking cute,
Right.
if I'm doing webinars, I come up, fabulous, and people are like, I really like how you show up. And I'm like, yes, I
Yeah.
love it, and I was styling clients for a time, maybe like 10 years ago. I had like 5 clients, but I had a
Mhm.
full-time job, and it was hard to do both,
Yeah.
go in the shop, pulling clothes and everything like that. And to be
Mhm.
perfectly honest, like, I've never been fully trained, and I didn't even know that that was a possibility. Like, you need to
Mm.
go to school, and like, I didn't know. I just was, everything that I do is all on gut instinct,
Yeah.
and so one of the clients that I had back then, she reached out early last year and was like, hey, I got a new role, I'm director of the division. And I was like, yeah. She's like, would you style me again? I was like, okay, I mean, I guess, so that's what I do. I style her virtually. And I'm also the friend that, my friends call, like, okay, I need this, can you find me some looks? I just did this for a friend last week. She was like, I
Mhm.
need a leather jacket. This is my price point, and I find stuff and I put it together in Canva, all cute, and I send it off, and I love it. I just love
Yeah.
it, but I would say, and like I was mentioning earlier, I would say in the actually just last week, I decided I'm going to go ahead and continue to embrace my fashion. So I'm going to start posting again regularly on Trish Lindo
Yeah.
on my Instagram. And I'm going to share it a bit more on LinkedIn, just kind of how it shows up in my post. You like it, you like it. You don't, because who cares,
Mhm.
And it's just going to be part of my vibe and the personal branding and all of how I do that. But
Yeah.
I have so much respect for you and what you do, because in another life we would be like, hey, we do this thing, and isn't it cool? But I'm in awe of, the image consultant work that you do, and when you share your clients and everything, like, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I
Oh,
love it. It's very inspiring. So thank you. Yeah.
listen, thank you. No, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thank you for staying with it and not, quenching that fire that was burning. That was like, I ain't trying to
Yeah.
go out. Like, I wanna shine up in here with this
Yeah.
style game.
Yeah.
Because you don't need no formal training. It's not a requirement. Okay, let's just in case
No.
that was something, that's not a thing. You can. It could be helpful. It could
Right.
definitely be helpful. I'm
Right.
not dismissing it. But it's not a requirement. And I
Right.
think at the time in which you feel like it will be most helpful, it will come and you'll be like, that right there. I
Yeah.
actually do want to take that class.
Yeah.
But the people are here for it. We
Thank
are
you.
excited about it. And like you said, we don't care. I don't care if I'm the only one commenting. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will let
Who
you
cares?
know the look is fire. Send more. Send more.
I
Lanes
will
to
give
my
you
people.
more, darling. I will give you more. So we should talk like this. I will give you more, darling. I'll give you as
More.
much as you can handle.
More.
Yes.
My fingers are burnt. My fingers are
Oh.
burnt. It's yeah. I can't. I told y'all for this to bring your tea. I told you bring your tea because the key king would be key. Listen, we could be here for a whole nother hour talking
We
about the
do. We
style and the
do.
fashion space.
Yes.
But we gonna tease it out because y'all just gonna have to enjoy what you got. And
Yes.
if you want more, you're gonna have to let us know you want more and we'll decide
You
what to do
know.
here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, this has been so amazing. Thank you so
Yes, it
much for
has.
sharing all of your
Absolutely.
wisdom and your energy.
Yes.
Um, do you have any last words of kick in the butt inspiration for
Yeah.
for the good people who need it?
I will say that, like myself, you should push yourself to do the things that make you terrified, things that you're absolutely scared about doing, things that you're overthinking when you're sitting on the couch having a cup of tea or keeping you up at night. If it scares you, it means you have to do it. If you can't stop thinking about it, it means that you have to do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And far too many of us care what people think, and we have to stop that. You got to stop caring what people think. You are not going to get to the level of success and the financial wealth and just personal growth in yourself if you spend so much time worried about what other people think. You got to stop giving up AF. You have to do it for you. We're in a time in this world where anything is possible. AI is a real thing. They're going to come take us all over, but still, you be nice to AI. But in the meantime, you need to put yourself out there. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. We have just seen it. We just had an election that lets you know anything's possible. You better get out there and get it. You better get out there and get it. Okay. Just saying.
I wish I had symbols. That's what that was supposed to be. It was not the same effect, but in my mind.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, y'all. The word has been dropped. Listen, show Trish some love in the comments. Yes. Pop in and let us know one thing that you learned or one thing that inspired you from our conversation today. And I will definitely be putting links to Trish's LinkedIn and her Instagram so you can go follow her and get all of the good nuggets and tune into Too Ambitious, because I guarantee there is going to be a phenomenal woman that she is interviewing who you're going to say, I must connect with her. Trish, thank you so much, Madame. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nana, for having me on your show. This has been amazing. It's so fun. Always a pleasure talking with you. And listen, I am grateful for the opportunity to be in community with you. I'm glad LinkedIn brought us together, and now we're stuck together forever.
Stuck like Chuck. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. You have a fabulous rest of your day. And if you are traveling through the holidays to see some family, I hope you enjoy and eat wonderful, good food. All right. I will see y'all next Wednesday. Okay.
Bye.